You're 12 years old, grinding rice in your family's courtyard, the morning sun warming your bare shoulders when the black lacquered carriage rolls through your village gate. The palace matron steps out, her measuring hands already reaching for you. She inspects your teeth, your posture, your breeding potential, eyes like a livestock inspector at market, checking which cut of meat will serve best. Your father bows so low his forehead touches dirt. She tosses him a silk pouch heavy with silver. And just like that, your childhood dies in the dust of wagon wheels. Your older sister married a rice farmer 3 villages east. She writes sometimes. You keep her letters hidden. The palace walls loom ahead like a mouth waiting to swallow you whole. Girls like you don't come back from places like this. Ever. The matron's smile is all teeth and no warmth as she explains the rules. Speak when spoken to. Serve without question. Survive if you can. The jasmine incense burning in the ancestral shrine can't mask what really happens here. The stench of fear that clings to every corridor like smoke. You're 14 now, and the palace walls have swallowed you whole. The jasmine incense burning in the ancestral shrine can't mask the stench of fear that clings to every corridor. Your first lesson? Serve tea to the senior consort with the jade hairpin, who slaps you for pouring too slow. The sting spreads across your cheek like fire, but you don't flinch. Can't flinch. The palace matron with measuring hands watches from the shadows, taking notes on which girls break and which ones bend. Your second lesson comes at midnight when the king's eunuch arrives at your door. No ceremony, no preparation, just sour rice wine on his breath and hands that treat you like furniture being rearranged. You stare at the silk curtain swallowing you like a grave and learn that your body isn't yours anymore. It never was. The other girls whisper about Lady Jiang, Sukjong's concubine who rose to power then lost her head when the political winds shifted. They say her ghost still walks these halls, warning newcomers. You're starting to understand why. Your joints already ache from sleeping on hard floors. A constant reminder that comfort is earned, not given. You're 16, and your belly swells with the king's child. Jackpot, right? Wrong. A baby is your ticket to consort status, but it's also a target painted on your back. The senior consort with the jade hairpin spreads rumors that you've been meeting secretly with court officials, trading state secrets for protection. The accusation is absurd. You barely know which end of the palace faces north, but truth doesn't matter here, only perception. The air grows thick with whispered accusations and sideways glances. They drag you to a stone courtyard where moonlight glints off the executioner's blade. Your joints ache from kneeling on cold stone, your swollen belly pressing against your ribs like a fist. The queen mother with tombstone eyes watches from her palanquin as they beat you with bamboo rods. Each strike sends lightning through your spine, the sound echoing off palace walls like thunder. Your son kicks inside you, as if he already knows the world wants him dead. Blood pools beneath your knees like spilled ink. Somehow, you both survive the night. Lucky you. You're 17, and childbirth nearly kills you. No male doctors allowed. Gender segregation means you're left with female healers who brew bitter medicinal herbs in secret. Their knowledge passed down in whispers. The pain tears through you like a blade splitting bamboo, your screams echoing through chambers that have heard this agony 1,000 times before. Your son arrives blue and silent, and for 3 terrifying minutes you think you've lost him. Then he screams, and the sound pierces the palace silence like a battle cry. Recovery is a special kind of hell. Your body feels like it's been trampled by horses, every muscle screaming, fever eating you alive for weeks. The female doctors feed you broths that taste like dirt and smell like death, but slowly, impossibly, you heal. Your son nurses with desperate hunger, as if he knows milk might be rationed. You name him quietly, in your heart, because even that small act of motherhood might be stolen from you. The queen mother with tombstone eyes visits your recovery chamber when you're still too weak to stand properly. She examines your son like spoiled fruit, then delivers her verdict: illegitimate, barred from succession. Your boy will grow up knowing he's royal blood with peasant rights, a prince who can't inherit so much as his father's name. She threatens exile if you cause trouble, her voice cold as winter stone. You nod and smile and plot his escape in the dark hours before dawn, your body still aching from bringing him into this world. You're 20, and the palace factionalism is eating you alive. The senior consort with the jade hairpin has convinced the king that you're plotting against the crown. The evidence? A letter you can't read, written in a hand you've never seen, supposedly found in your chambers. You're dragged before a tribunal of men who've already decided your guilt. Your lungs burn with each breath as you kneel on stone that's worn smooth by generations of women begging for mercy they'll never receive. They spare your life, barely, but your son pays the price. Declared a bastard officially now, stripped of any claim to royal protection. You watch through latticed windows as palace guards escort him to the servants' quarters, his small hand clutching a wooden toy you carved in secret. He's 3 years old, calling for his mother, and you can't even wave goodbye. The sound of his crying follows you for weeks, echoing in every corridor, every meal, every sleepless night. Your breasts still ache with milk he'll never drink again. The palace matron with measuring hands delivers the final blow. You're forbidden from seeing him. Ever. One glimpse, one word, one gesture of recognition, and he dies. Simple as that. Your heart breaks so completely you can hear it shatter, the sound like ice cracking on a frozen pond. You're 23, and younger girls are arriving daily. Fresh faces, unmarked skin, voices that haven't learned to whisper yet. The king's attention drifts like smoke, settling on newer, shinier objects. Your body aches constantly now, joints screaming from years of kneeling, back scarred from beatings, muscles atrophied from palace confinement. The jasmine incense burns eternal in the ancestral shrine, the same smell that greeted you 9 years ago, mocking your endurance. You catch glimpses of your son in the kitchen sometimes, but he doesn't recognize you anymore. They've taught him to call you that woman instead of mother. He's grown tall, with your eyes and his father's stubborn chin, but his smile belongs to the kitchen maids who raised him. The sight of him laughing with strangers cuts deeper than any bamboo rod ever could. The palace matron with measuring hands inspects the new arrivals with the same calculating gaze she once used on you. You remember being 12, grinding rice in sunlight, thinking the world was vast and full of possibilities. Now you know better. The world is exactly the size of these walls, and every possibility ends in the same place. Forgotten, replaced, erased. The new girls giggle at night, their laughter bright as temple bells. You want to warn them, but what's the point? They wouldn't listen anyway. You're 25, and your body is breaking down like a house in a storm. Fever eats through you, leaving you weak and hollow, your skin hot as forge metal. The bitter medicinal herbs the female doctors brew can't touch whatever's consuming you from inside. Maybe it's illness. Maybe it's just the accumulated weight of 13 years spent being property. Your son is 7 now, tall for his age, reading characters you never learned, speaking words you never taught him. You smuggle him to your sister's farm, the one who married East. The senior consort with the jade hairpin visits your sickbed, not out of kindness but to watch you die. She's older now, too, lines creeping around her eyes like spider webs, her own replacement probably already chosen. We're all just keeping the seat warm, she says, and for once, she's not wrong. The palace chews through women like a mill grinds grain, constantly, efficiently, without sentiment. At least she's honest about it now. Your last night, you hear new girls laughing in the courtyard, their voices bright and unbroken, full of dreams that haven't been murdered yet. One of them sounds like you did at 12, before you learned that laughter was a luxury you couldn't afford. The jasmine incense burns in the ancestral shrine, the same smell that greeted you 13 years ago, and you realize nothing has changed. Nothing ever changes here? The cycle just continues, grinding fresh hope into palace dust. But your son survives in hiding with your sister's family, carrying the lullabies you hummed in the dark hours before dawn. Your last breath slips out like a secret, but somewhere beyond these walls, a boy with your eyes is learning to read, to think, to choose his own name. The palace will forget you before your body cools. but he carries your fight in his blood. A flicker of hope in a dynasty that tried to crush you both. You were never just a concubine. You were a spark that refused to die.